welcome to Critical Political. I'm Corey, and you're watching The Political Void. This week, we are delving into the rising tensions between the United States and China, specifically in terms of historic precedent, and Xi Jinping's alleged attempt at a grim warning. Here we go. World War I serves as a grim testament to the depths of human fallibility. Often we label conflict as unthinkable, yet does this reflect reality or merely the limitations of our own imagination? By 1914, the sheer magnitude of the impending carnage was beyond what most could foresee, eventually necessitating the very term World War. The conclusion of the struggle 4 years later left a devastated continent, with empires like the Austro-Hungarian and the German collapsed. The Russian monarchy was toppled by Bolshevik revolutionaries, and nations like France and England were left depleted of both their people and their wealth. This era marked the violent end of a 1,000-year period of European global hegemony. By the way, this video is sponsored by the like button. Click it below to find out more. Today, the pivotal challenge for global stability rests on whether the United States and China can avoid a comparable catastrophe. The structural tension that arises when a rising power such as China rivals an established leader like the United States is historically defined as Thucydides' trap. While economic and cultural links exist, history indicates that conflict is a high risk unless leaders engage in profound mutual understanding and fundamental shifts in perspective. Effectively navigating China's ascent necessitates rigorous, high-level diplomacy rather than cursory strategic approaches. The concept is derived from the historian Thucydides, who observed that the Peloponnesian War became unavoidable due to the rise of Athens and the subsequent fear it triggered in Sparta. Data from the last 5 centuries shows that war occurred in 12 of the 16 instances where a rising power confronted a dominant one. This recurring pattern illustrates how the burgeoning confidence and influence of a rising state often spark defensive fear and reactive measures from the ruling power, frequently resulting in open conflict. The significance of these events stems largely from the intentions of the Chinese leadership. Much of the nuance can vanish during translation, a problem compounded by the failure of Trump and his sycophantic administration to grasp the situation. Had the US president truly comprehended the message, he might have publicly de-escalated the threat of confrontation, providing global reassurance that peace and cooperation remained the objectives. Instead, the comment remained unaddressed, creating an atmospheric ambiguity that allowed media analysts to conclude that a threat of war was a logical takeaway. In stark contrast to Trump, Xi Jinping is broadly regarded by analysts as a calculating and politically astute strategist. By skillfully maneuvering through the intricate internal politics of the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, Xi has established himself as the nation's most influential figure since Mao Zedong. He has earned accolades from various global figures, including President Trump, who described him as a brilliant leader who possesses a clear understanding of the necessary path forward. Xi Jinping demonstrated a strategic shift in his diplomatic approach to de-escalate record-low tensions with the United States. This change in rhetoric and posture was most evident during his November 2023 address to American business leaders in San Francisco. Regarding the subsequent US-China summit held in Beijing on Thursday and Friday of last week, the primary success was the avoidance of a worst-case scenario for international allies. While President Xi Jinping achieved his fundamental objectives, President Donald Trump was unable to realize his primary goals for the engagement. Leading up to this high stakes meeting, international leaders expressed concern that the US president might trade security commitments for Taiwan to secure economic gains and improve domestic political standing. These fears were compounded when President Trump delayed a $14 billion arms deal for Taiwan, presumably to avoid antagonizing Xi or to gain negotiating leverage. Ultimately, the summit concluded without significant breakthroughs. Trump maintained the existing stance on Taiwan, and Xi did not provide any major trade concessions. In the event of a US-China conflict, individuals should proactively prepare for significant economic instability. Supply chain failures and cyber-related vulnerabilities. It is prudent to organize a 14-day reserve of water, non-perishable food, and essential medical supplies, especially since a large volume of pharmaceuticals and other consumer products originate in Asia. To protect financial stability, consider diversifying investments and maintaining access to physical cash, as cyberattacks could cripple digital banking and payment systems for extended periods. Additionally, bolstering digital security through multi-factor authentication and physical backups of important documents is essential to defend against digital sabotage. Although the presence of nuclear arsenals and economic interdependence makes a full-scale war less likely than localized or proxy engagements, even limited conflicts such as over Taiwan would have devastating global consequences. The consequences of conflict could trigger severe shortages of vehicles, electronics, and common household goods. There would be surging inflation and the threat of a long-term recession due to trade embargoes and shipping disruptions. If history is a sign of what could come, there is a potential of government mandates for industrial conversion and wartime rationing. While the United States currently holds maritime and aerospace superiority in the Pacific, wargaming suggests that such a conflict would result in staggering losses of personnel and equipment for both nations. Ultimately, this could lead to a fundamental shift in the global balance of power toward countries that remain uninvolved. While the Trump administration appears to lack mature leadership, a more composed approach seems to present within Xi Jinping's circle. The ultimate consequences of this current posturing remain uncertain. With any luck, these events will be remembered as merely another ridiculous blunder by Trump, rather than a catalyst for further escalating towards conflict. General Omar Bradley said, "The world has achieved brilliance without conscience. Ours is a world of nuclear giants and ethical infants." That is all for this week. Until next time, remember, silence is compliance. Your voice is vital. Stand up, speak out, strike back. They don't know what they started. If you appreciate this content, please like, share, and subscribe. For updates, ring the bell. Your support truly helps the channel.